Guys, we're going to get spammed by trades tonight. We might even do some of our own spamming. We're going to start off with one right here. Yes, indeed. 12-team Superflex, PPR start 10. Give Jalen Hurts and Rondale Moore. Get Tua, an early 23 first, and Jalen Waddle. Which way you going?
But damn. Well, damn.
Take the first in the stack. Give me the first in the stack. I'm good with that.
Man, I'll tell you what, if there was even just a little bit better than Rondale Moore, I'd probably think about it more. But give him Jalen Waddle and an early first with Tua. Yeah.
Well, what if it's Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, so a lesser stack?
Still, no, that's like a slight tier or two above Moore. That's not enough. Nah, man, that's a good package. Give me the package. Put it right in my hand.
I think it's just a testament of where you would slot Tua in. And I think until you have a trade with him in your inbox, when you have to do some soul searching on where he is, then you kind of think, man, do I really want to pay an extra early first and one of these tier 2 receivers just to get Jalen Hurts? I think most people would lean the trio there. Good trade.
Yeah, so here was a question that we had, and we'll get back to a bunch of trades, but this is a question we had in the community post. What are we doing with Tua on a rebuild? Should we enjoy the ride, sell high? What do you think? What's a sell high price for Tua? Like, do you think he's worth? Do you think he's worth more than 2 firsts? Not 3, but more than 2.
I mean, if someone's willing to give me 3 firsts, then I'm out. 2 firsts. If it's 23 and 24, I'm probably holding. If both of them are looking late in 23, I'm probably holding. I don't like chasing quarterbacks. So if I've got a quarterback, I'm rebuilding. Like, that's. Unless I'm getting an absolute Godfather offer, I'm going to just sit tight and try to, clean up the pieces around them.
Yeah, the major issue with quarterbacks in the Tua range is I think most of us would love to pick and choose 2 firsts and go trade them for one of these quarterbacks. But then you start looking at the nuances of where the picks are going to fall, and you can get out of control pretty quickly. If you're sending the 102 and the 103, it's way different than sending the 108 and the 110. So when you say, is he worth 2 firsts, what does that mean as we get closer to 2023 and we start identifying numbers to those picks? I do think in a startup, Tua is going to go in the range where the pick there is worth 2 firsts, because he's going to go around other quarterbacks and you go, wow, I would pay 4 firsts for Justin Herbert, but I wouldn't pay 2 firsts for Tua. Yet in a startup, they may go, 10 to 20 picks apart. Are you really trading back 15 spots in a startup? If someone gives you 2 future firsts, you would probably take that and just gamble that you're going to be able to build a team adequately from where you're picking. But then you go to the trade market and it's like, yeah, there's leagues where you probably have Tua and you can't sell for 3 firsts. So really, what is the price? So I do think he's not a guy in a rebuild I'm trying to get out of, but I'm also, if I can pivot somewhere else, I'd be okay doing that too. As long as you're just accruing value, I think that's the major thing.
Would you give up let's say the projected 102? Let's say 101 is locked down. You give up the 2023 102 and a 24 first in Superflex?
See, that's when you start assigning the numbers and you go, okay, is that the best I can do with that 102? I think it comes down to, I don't want to do it. Shane doesn't want to do it. You may have to pick quarterbacks in rookie drafts again. We all sit here and go, avoid the risk. How do I move my early picks that I might be tempted to draft a quarterback? Can I trade them for quarterbacks? But basically, if I'm paying the 102 and a first for Tua, I'm essentially paying a first to not take any risk. I think that's the big difference, because I'm confident the 102 pick, that the QB1 in this upcoming class, it is going to be close to equivalent of Tua. You're just de-risking yourself by paying the extra first to not have to potentially draft Trey Lance or Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield,
Scott battling the English language before me. No one saw that coming. De-risking. If I'm getting the 101, 102, that's not a word. 101, 102, then and another first. Yeah, see it to it. Because I don't believe enough in him. I still like, you know what I mean? Even when I can't believe in him enough for that. But I believe in him enough if I can't draft any quarterbacks in this rookie draft out of the top 2.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of subscribers who are going to be with us tonight. We got 123 so far. I think we're going to get up over 200. What do you think? But they have a lot of inbox trades for us. So they're going to be spamming us with trades, and we're going to talk about spam offers that we're going to be sending here as trade deadlines approach. Here's one from Sean. Inbox trade, 12 team Superflex, start 10, please help. Give a late 23 first, 3 seconds, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, Jeff Wilson, Curtis Samuel, get Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Done.
I literally, that's just like Scott likes to say, like you found all this stuff in your refrigerator and you were like, I will trade you this for a steak. And someone's like, that's a good trade. That's what you just did. That's not Scott's analogy exactly, but it's along those lines.
Mine is a little more creative than that. Mine's
Yeah.
more like you found a bunch of stuff in your garage and you turned it into, one major gift. Yeah, exactly.
Turned it into a car. Yeah, because a late first, okay, whatever. 3 seconds. Jimmy G, it's just a bunch of junk. I mean, Jeff Wilson, Curtis Samuel. I mean, it'd be one thing if it looks like this guy is giving up one piece for a bunch of win now pieces, but there's just a bunch of junk in here. So yes,
This is literally like 2 quarters, a bunch of dimes and nickels for $1. And you're not getting $2 worth of money back either. You're basically exchanging $1 for $1, but you're taking your dollar in the form of 8 coins. No thanks.
Yeah. So please, please smash
rubles for money.
Please smash if you haven't already. We got another inbox offer from Dan. 12 team Superflex PPR start 9. Give Trey Lance, Russ Wilson, Jamison Williams, and an early 23 first. Get Justin Herbert and a 23 fourth. My QBs are Lawrence, Lance, Russ Wilson, and Matt Ryan.
I mean, he's paying a lot. He's paying equivalent of, if you just count Lance's 2 firsts.
It's every bit of 4 firsts.
More than that, if you even count Russ Wilson, Jamison Williams just as a first total, which I think that they're probably worth more than that. He's paying a lot. I would say 2 things. One of those is, here's Justin Herbert. He's available. We always talk about the advantage of getting a guy like Herbert when he's available, because he may not be available 90% of the time. Second thing is the start 9. So the advantage at the quarterbacks is going to be magnified because there's less starters to spread out the advantage. So if this was a start 11, I think we would be like, nah, you're giving up too many potential starters. But a start 9, I mean, if he has, he's got Lawrence already. So like, he's basically hoping that Herbert provides a positional advantage, and now he only has to worry about 7, 8 other spots. So that would be the logic, but it is a pretty penny to pay.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know. Gimme. And you got a 4th back. That's fun. I guess that was like one of those, like, I just have to get something else. Like, something has to come back to me. Like, Russ Wilson and Jamison Williams might never start for you in a start 9. Hopefully Russ Wilson doesn't have to start for you in a start 9 because things are going poorly. Trey Lance could in that early 23 first could, but I know Justin Herbert's going to, like, no doubt about it. He's an elite quarterback. This is what you have to pay to get them. You pay it.
So here's another question that we had that kind of applies here. We're starting off a little bit quarterback heavy. So in terms of how many quarterbacks, here's a 12 team Superflex PPR start 11. I have Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields. I have 123 first that I think is going to be mid that I was hoping to not spend on a QB in 23. I can buy Derek Carr for a 24 first. Is this a good move?
No. I'm fine with, like, getting Derek Carr. Me and Scott have talked about this a bunch on the roster reviews. Send in your rosters to Clay. Or inquire. But we've talked about it, like, if you have a quarterback in that range, like a Derek Carr, like, all right, can I add another Derek Carr to it cheaply? 24 first isn't enough for me. And when I already have Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields, I'd rather trade for a Jimmy G or Teddy Bridgewater, or just stream some starts together if worse comes to worse. I'll pick up the backups for Lamar. I'll go get Tyler Huntley. And I don't know that Justin Fields has a backup, so I wouldn't worry about that. But Tyler Huntley or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're It's not a bad move. I see what he's trying to do. I think it could be a buy low on Carr. I know there's all this stuff out there about how he's not going to be with the Raiders. Listen, we had a massive discussion on our Patreon chat last night. Derek Carr is a guaranteed starter in the league. There's not enough starters to go around. So I'm not worried about the Raiders release him. Ooh, he's going to be a backup. No, he'll be a starter somewhere. He might land in a better situation. But I think there's not many quarterbacks I would want to go and buy as my QB3, and I don't want to use a future first to get there. So I'm with Shane. Like, can I buy a QB3 cheaper? Can I buy a QB3 of a player that I think has a really good chance of starting next year, but isn't worth a first? Can I buy Daniel Jones? Can I buy Jimmy Garoppolo? Someone like that. Go a tier down, and the purposes of why you're buying the QB3 is going to apply to any of those guys. If you have Lamar and Fields, when do you really want to start them? Only in emergencies. So 4 times a year, maybe. So don't spend it first.
So it's not overspending on insurance, even though you're like, oh, Carr's a great QB3, and now I don't have to draft a quarterback in 23. It seems like that's a little overkill.
Let's play reverse here. Let's say you had Kirk Cousins as your QB3, but you had Lamar and Fields. What would we be saying to do? Actually, you would want to pivot off of Cousins and go down and still get one of those QB3s. But can you swap a first and a second? Can you get Jimmy G and a first for Cousins in a second? You still apply the same thing to your roster, but you pick up a first. You know what I mean? Like that's the move. If you have a good QB3, don't pay first to get a good QB3. Worry about it when you need it.
Yep. That makes sense. Okay, so let's hit one of these super chats here. Thank you very much, Rolando. And here's his question: would you send a projected late first for Kelsey? I just lost Goddard and Ertz. Team is definitely win now. It's a 12-team Superflex start 11 tight end premium. If it's a win now, man, and a tight end premium, I'm gonna give a late first to Travis Kelsey. Just
look, I can be honest with you. I'm to the point where, and me and Scott have talked about this a lot too, where I'm just like, there's a couple of unicorns that I just don't care about their age anymore or anything else. If I think I could compete next year, I'd pay a 23 first for Kelsey. Derrick Henry is probably another guy that falls in that range, although he's a running back, so it's a little more risky. But I give that up all day for Kelsey right now, even if I didn't think I'd win this year. If I think I can win next year.
And here's the other thing is, okay, this is just for the rest of this year until it's not, right? Kelsey probably survives into next year. He's still a top 3 tight end next year because the landscape is bad. The other thing I like about this, you lost Goddard. You're going to get Goddard back next year. Goddard is one of the few tight ends in the league that potentially could get to Kelsey's range or match Kelsey in a given year. You already have him. So you're actually magnifying your own advantage by having Kelsey next year because you also have Goddard. You've eliminated one of the other bodies out there that could potentially beat you at tight end. So you didn't just get Kelsey the rest of the year, but you actually made it tougher for other teams to catch you at tight end next year, assuming there's not some drastic change in the landscape. So I really like this idea of a Goddard losing team goes and gets another one of the elite tight ends and takes both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Okay, thank you for that super chat, Rolando. Okay, let's see here. Let's answer this real quick. I see this from Jacob. We were talking about Tua, and we do have a lot of 1 QB players, so let's help him out here real quick. What's the difference in value of Tua between Superflex and non-Superflex? So would you spend a late 23 first on Tua in a 1 QB?
No.
Probably not, only because I don't think we value the dynasty aspect that much in 1 QB. We're really looking at what's the upside, like even think of someone like Burrow. I would rather have Burrow than Tua, but I still don't really want to chase him at what his perceived price is going to be in a 1 QB. I think Shane and I always talk about in 1 QB, give me one of like 5 quarterbacks. I don't really want Herbert. I really don't want Burrow. I feel really good about those guys in Superflex, but in 1 QB, I'm looking at them going like, those guys could be like QB 7, 8, and that's where Tua, I think his ceiling is. So it's like, I wouldn't want to pay the price. I'd rather just drop down a level and get, Cousins, Carr, Rodgers, whatever. And not this year, obviously, with some of those guys, but like the same thing is year to year, you probably get the same type of production. So yeah, I wouldn't want to pay the price because he's going to be overvalued because he's young.
No, but we will. Yeah, like I said, we'll pay first for quarterbacks and in 1 QB. It's just they need to be the guys that are going to put up really, really crooked numbers. Like I know Tua put up a 50-point week. I think he's closer to a Dak Prescott than he is a Jalen Hurts, though, or a Lamar Jackson the first 4 weeks.
Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields is becoming one of those guys for you,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, with this, I like that, Crooked Weeks. That's a good band name.
Hey, I stole it from baseball.
Nice. Okay, so let's put up this super chat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 12-team Superflex, half PPR. My best pieces are T-Law, Pickett, Dak, Javonte, Ingram, D'Onta. I have 2 23 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, and a 24 first. A couple seconds there. Who should I buy / target, and who to sell? Okay, so we got everything here, half PPR. We don't know how many you start in this league. If you want to pop that into the chat, maybe Shane can keep an eye on that. Tends to be good at that. But initial thoughts, Scott? Looking at this squad?
Yeah, I mean, without knowing any of the other specifics, like it's half PPR, so you're probably looking at like a 50-50 in terms of the flexes with running backs and with receivers. He doesn't have enough skill players, as you can tell by what he listed.
Yeah.
If D'Onta and Javonte Williams are his best running back and wide receiver, then he's probably just shy on skill player talent. He does have the seconds. He does have the firsts. Obviously, I think he's probably going to look at potentially trading one of his quarterbacks, breaking one of his quarterbacks up.
Right.
Exactly the situation we talked about earlier with Carr. Not as strong at the top, but you still have T-Law and Dak that you could potentially take Pickett and pivot down to, I don't know, could you get another receiver and a second or something like that for Pickett? Knowing he's going to have plenty of flexibility with the other picks that he carries if he wanted to draft a third quarterback or he wanted to trade a second for a cheaper quarterback. I'd be okay doing that. I'd even be okay trading Pickett for a first and then picking up your third quarterback somewhere else cheaper. But I do think he's going to need more higher picks so he can round out his skill players, assuming this is a start 10. If it's a start 8, then he obviously needs to get better skill players, but I'm not as worried about getting as many. But yeah, he's definitely shy on skill players. He's got to shift over his roster construction a little bit.
2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 wide receiver, tight end flex, and the super flex.
So it's start 9.
Yeah. Thank you. I definitely was not figuring that math out.
Yeah, it looks like he might have to blow it up a little bit more, honestly, if you ask me. But yeah, I see what you mean about his roster construction and tweaking that. I like the idea of breaking up one of those quarterbacks.
I personally want to add to T-Law or Dak first and get a stud quarterback if I can. Just there's too many guys in the same range there. Like Pickett's upside, we're like one day he could be Dak Prescott, and we look at T-Law and we're like, well, hopefully one day he could be Dak Prescott at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that super chat, man. Appreciate it. And just for the record, Scott Connor did find the
I checked that out. He went to Wikipedia and edited this himself.
Yeah, he did that really quickly too. It's impressive. Yeah. All right, let's go to another one here. Okay, what is this? Sold X player. Let's put up this. This is a lot of words, but let's read it here. 270 videos has a question for us or a comment. In drastic markets with limited buyers, are sellers better off spamming offers or negotiating privately or sending public messages saying player X is sold for the best offer by the deadline?
All right, so I'm going to count this to yesterday. It was my birthday, and I said I wanted either birthday sex or a dynasty trade. And many people said, why not both? Okay, why not all of these things, right? Like we're trying to amplify the message. We're trying to get it out there that we want it. You should know in your leagues who's one of the people that you need to reach out to privately and be like, hey, are you in the mood for this player? Like you want to make a deal. Some people just don't respond to private messages and don't like them. They kind of creep me out. So if you sent me a private message, there's a good chance I'd ignore you, right? But you can do all 3 of these things. Just don't expect that if you put in the public message saying player X is available, that's going to get a lot of bites. That's probably the least, what's the word I'm looking for? Useful method of trading is going out and saying, hey, everyone, this player is available. Because no one's going to put in any effort to that, I prefer and besides the fact, I like sending out the offers first, because then I'm the one that's controlling the negotiations. I'm the one that set the baseline that says, no, this is where I want to start from. Like, I'm not, they send me an offer, we're starting from there. And a lot of times we just start negotiating without even thinking, like, wait a minute, this isn't, if I was to send this offer out, I wouldn't, this isn't what I would have constructed.
Scott, you're good to speak on this topic because you always have an auto trade block, and oftentimes it's just, garbage, or not garbage, but it's fluff that you're trying to get rid of on your roster. You're trying to just get thirds here and there, and you have an auto accept thing. If you send me one of these, this player is yours. So talk about how you do your spamming.
Well, if you look at the banner above Clay's head, there's the word Dynasty, and below that it says process. So a lot of what I'm doing with these types of moves are just pure process, right? There, yeah, you got it. You're right there. And I think the easiest way to achieve process trades is to be the aggressor. We always say on the roster reviews, you send out the offers, because to come up with process, you're usually coming up with players in ranges, in tiers. You're looking for the structure of the trade that you want to achieve. It's not necessarily the players. You may really want to go buy a player. You may really say, hey, I really want to go buy this player today. So let me go to every league and send out offers. That's different than you're trying to sell something and you're looking for a process, because rarely is like you're trying to sell one player and it matches up that the other team that has one player that you want, it works out perfectly. A lot of times you got to go, okay, I want a 24 first and a running back. But you got to give yourself, 10 to 15 options of which ones you're willing to accept. You can't be super picky. And when you do that, then you're able to go to the rest of the league and say, okay, I'm going to either send out that trade to everybody, or I'm going to specify that's what I want, whether that's my auto accept trade block or whether that's in the chat. But I agree with Shane, just putting, the funniest to me is Treylon Burks is on the block this morning, right? Like, is someone really going to come to you and pay 3 times what they would have paid yesterday? Because clearly you want more than what, right? You want more than what you would have wanted yesterday, but you weren't trying to trade him yesterday. So really, what's the difference between today and yesterday? Meaning, is someone really going to come to you and go, hey, I'm going to overpay? Like that, how often does that ever work?
Here you go. Treylon Burks is a perfect example. One of the leagues I'm in, someone literally just put him on the block. So I said, all right, let's see. Obviously they didn't put any kind of information out there what they're looking for. So I'm like, Calvin Ridley, let's just see. And, his counter was George Pickens in a second. Clearly we have a wide golf, whatever. We're pretty far apart. So yeah, that's kind of what happens when you just randomly put stuff in the trade block. Not saying he was right or I'm right. It's just clearly our values of him and what we think he can be acquired for are very different.
Yep.
And that doesn't work. I've seen it. I almost laugh now when after the guy has the big game. Sometimes it's even during the game. When he catches his 3rd touchdown, Christian Watson's on the block while the game's still going on. Yeah. It's like, really, is someone going to step in and triple pay what they would have paid yesterday to get him? It's that doesn't work. A blank trade block doesn't work. I look at people's trade baits all the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're shopping DeAndre Hopkins, and this was updated 3 days ago, so I'll send them an offer, and then their response is, wow, you're way off. You don't value him at all. It's like, well, there is no context as to what you want for him. So it's like you got to give people information. Don't be scared to hold firm on what you want. Like no information isn't going to facilitate a trade, at least from my experience.
Yeah, I don't know if it rubs people the wrong way, but on like MFL, I'll put when you're putting somebody on the trade block, like, what are you looking for? It's like, I'm looking for an offer that you would want to get if you owned this player, because you get, even playing with like sharps, you get such trash offers. It's a blast.
Yeah, I send those to Scott all the time. Yeah, I sent him one today.
Trying. So we got a super chat from Kevin. Thank you very much, Kevin. 10-team Superflex PPR start 9. Give Joe Burrow, Miles Sanders, an early 23 second. Get Trevor Lawrence, Jonathan Taylor, and a late 23 first. I have Mahomes, Geno, Goff, Najee, Gibson and B-Rob, and Michael Carter. What do you think here, guys?
I'm okay with it.
I'll take the T-Law side.
It's interesting. I mean, you're downgrading at quarterback. I got to be honest with you. This year, you're downgrading at running back, and you're downgrading at the pick on the Lawrence side. Technically, I guess JT obviously has more long-term value than the ones at 23 first. So yeah, that's why I'm going to go to the JT side. Once he'll bounce back, and his value will eclipse Sanders pretty triumphantly.
It's a 10 team.
It's not gonna work.
It's a 10 team. There's a chance that in 6 months he could trade Jonathan Taylor and Trevor Lawrence and get back Joe Burrow in the first. And it's like you literally got a free pick out of it, and you can use it to accrue another pick. So I just pure value, I would be okay doing it. Plus it's a 10 teamer. If this is like a 14 teamer, okay, maybe the gap in the quarterbacks is appropriate, but not in a 10 team.
And just as an aside, if anyone wants to tweet at me, I'm looking up the best wireless quiet mouses. So if you hear those clicking, feel free to let me know because I'm looking for them.
Best wireless quiet mouses. That is what you'd put in the Google search too.
Would that be
Best
mouses
wireless
or mice?
quiet mouses?
A mouse or mice?
Just a mouse. Just a mouse. Just one.
Just a mouse. Here, this man asked, traded Cooper Kupp for Kadarius Toney and Terrace Marshall Jr. Dynasty Superflex League.
No, we don't like this. This makes us sad inside. Look, I know in both of our Patreon chats, we were talking about like what we would accept for Kupp, and we were talking like, I don't know, I want at least George Pickens plus. I want to try to get Deontay Johnson in something, you know what I mean? To get Toney and Terrace Marshall is useless, is a bag of hammers. I guess that could be useful, but he's not very useful in fantasy football. And Toney, look, he's had 2 good games, 2.5 good career games. I'd rather just hold Kupp, keep him in my pocket, and run it back next year than trade him for this.
This man must be able to see in the future, because you could see a crazy world where Kadarius Toney blows up on Sunday night and people are sending him for Cooper Kupp. But before that, It feels like you're taking a lot of the risk on, and things could go the other way. He could get hurt. This could be his opportunity. He doesn't do much. So I think if I have Kupp, I'd rather buy Kadarius Toney for a higher than market price than trade Cooper Kupp for him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted him and you really wanted to pay like 2 seconds, with one of them being a high second, or knock on wood, if you wanted to pay like a late first, I would rather pay a late first than trade Cooper Kupp for Kadarius Toney. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. Get him, just not in that type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you can always just trade again and crush value on the next one. Let's go to this one here, and then we'll hit one of the super chats I see. Luck is here. He's got one. It's a 12-team start 11. Give Trey Lance and Chris Olave. Get Deshaun Watson.
I mean, this is a pro Watson dynasty value podcast, at least. So I think I'm on board.
And Olave. So this one's tough for Shane. He likes a couple.
He doesn't like Trey Lance, though. I know he's on the Watson side here.
Yeah, I'm taking Watson. I mean, but it's if say this was like Kyler, or not even Kyler. Say this was like Dak, I'd have to think a lot harder. With Lance, who I've never actually seen be good at football at any level, though I know he's got really good traits, I guess. I don't know what it is that we like about him. Upside. He's got great upside. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Watson right here.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. That's that's a good way to get him. That's a good way to get Watson, because at least those are two sexy pieces on that side. As far as some people are concerned, is what I was trying to get out of my mouth there. Okay, let's go to this one here. Carrie, thank you very much for the super chat. Amari Cooper and the 202 or the 109? 12-team Superflex start 10.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I think this is an interesting trade, because I think there's a coin flip chance that the 109 and the 202 are a similar tier of players. So you're just making that bet that this will be a trade that you're like, wow, I love that, because Amari Cooper helped me potentially win, and I have an asset maybe for next year, and I really didn't lose much in terms of the quality of player or the tier of player. Or it could go the other way, and you look on the clock next year and you go, Amari Cooper didn't help me win. He doesn't have Deshaun Watson next year because he goes somewhere else, and I wish I could add him to the 202 to get the 109 on the clock because there's a tier break. So I get it from both sides. You're just gambling, forecasting where you think the tiers are going to fall. So I think it's a creative trade. I can't really say like it's 50-50 for me.
Man, it's an easy 109 for me. We've talked about before the difference between a 2 and a 1 in front of it, right? And how there's just actual studies that show you $1.99 is significantly cheaper than $2 for whatever reason in our minds. And I know obviously you're getting Cooper on the other side, but it almost doesn't matter what Cooper does this year. What are you going to be able to trade for him in 6 months? 6 months?
Yeah,
4 months.
If I don't need him right now, I'm doing the trade for the 109.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm about to order this Logitech. It looks really nice.
Yeah, well, we got another super chat here. So Heavy Kevy, you're helping to buy Shane a Logitech mouse.
Classic blue.
Get two.
Maybe red. I don't know.
You're gonna smash one of those
for both hands.
One of those mice. Oh yeah, so you could trade even more hardcore. You're like this double-handed trader guy. Okay, Heavy Kevy, thank you very much, sir. 12-team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium start 10. Give 2 mid 23 firsts, an early 23 first. Get CMC and Derrick Henry. All in contender. Best Dynasty show on YouTube. Thank you, my brother. What do you think here?
Yeah. So this is where me and Scott and Everett Scott talk about this too, is where it's like, man, we thought these 23 firsts were going to be just skyrocketing in value, and they just, unfortunately, they haven't, because was one of those where I was hoping I could trade 123 first and get these guys and maybe add a second, but we are where we are. Derrick Henry isn't human. He's going to play till he's 36. So you're going to get more utility out of this deal for like several years anyway. And then Christian McCaffrey's he's healthy. He's the running back 1 or 2 at worst right now. So yeah, I love this. You should smash, assuming, they don't go out and blow a wheel out.
Yeah, this is one of those moves why you save up all your money, right? And this is the big vacation you've planned, and you just spend it. Might have a bad time. Flight might be delayed. Hotel might be bad, but you've saved it all up. This is your shot. So, I mean, and the fact you can get both of these guys on a contender.
Yeah.
Like, this is like literally the once in a season deal. There's probably very few trades where you ever get offered 2 players like this that are going to monopolize the running back position and might literally be the top 2 running backs the rest of the year, or both, top 3, top 5. So it's an all-in move. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. You already know when you hit accept on this, you're never going to recoup what you paid.
Nope. They're going to
You've
die
already
on your
spent the
roster.
money. Yep. You've already committed to, paying $500 for that meal and whatever. Like it's going to be gone. So just hopefully it's good and you enjoy it. And that's why we play. There is an element of wanting to win and having fun. So.
Yes, sir. Get that ship, Heavy Kevy. Keep us posted, sir. I like it. Slinging big deals here, man. That'll make it pucker down there. Okay, let's go for another one here. Okay, are there any sneaky players that you're trying to acquire that could be leaving for a new team, or handcuffs that could become the primary running backs?
I'll address the second part here first.
Okay, go ahead.
Rarely does a handcuff become a primary running back. Can they have a bigger role than they did? Possibly. But
what about Khalil Herbert, right? Because isn't Monty going to be going somewhere? So Khalil Herbert, Alexander Madison, is he another one who could?
So Madison's a free agent,
right?
Listen, the odds with Khalil Herbert is there's just another Khalil Herbert.
Yep.
So he's good. He might get a little bit of a tick up because Montgomery leaves. But I see people always saying, I want to buy him because he's going to be the bell cow next year. It's like, no, if he was good enough to be that, he would have already been it. You would have already seen it. Now, maybe it happens, 1 out of 10 times. But especially the way teams run backfields now, it's like I'm never going to bet on a guy that's never had more than, 30, 40% of his team's touches for 2 years, ever doing it in the future. So at best, he gets to be the 60-40 part of a committee, which is fine. But I don't want to overpay for those guys. I'd rather pay the market price when it's there instead of speculate and pay a high price to speculate, because that's just not how things are done anymore in the NFL. And there's a lot. This is a great free agent running back class. A lot of good starters are going to be free agents. And then we dropped our America's Game show this morning. We had Shane Hallam on as a guest, and he has 14 running backs going from round 2 to round 4.
Wow.
So if that happens and you have all these running backs hitting free agency, we're going to have backfield chaos. Every backfield you could say is going to have at least a Khalil Herbert, a Damian Harris. Every team's going to have that kind of setup, or most of them. So I just don't want to pay for that. I'd rather just collect as many as I can at an equitable cost.
What do you think, Shane? Got any thoughts on this one?
I don't even try to pretend that I'm going to know what running back's going to be leading a backfield next year when I can't tell you what running back's going to be leading a backfield in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it's just the position is too volatile. The position is too fragile for me to even guess. Like if you thought of like things in succession, sure, Alexander Madison in theory should take over for Dalvin Cook. Tony Pollard should take over for Ezekiel Elliott. And
from a guarantee.
But those guys are free agents. That's the funny part.
But
the starter isn't. The starter's under contract.
And even in their cases, if they're free agents, doesn't mean they're going to go somewhere and be a starter. The last running back I can legitimately remember that did that was like Fournette when he got cut from Jacksonville, but that definitely was not the plan. And Michael Turner is the last time I can legitimately remember us going, oh yeah, this guy is definitely going to be a starter when he goes somewhere, and that's what he did in Atlanta. So I don't like to try to guess on things that are pretty unguessable.
Jacoby Myers, I'll just say that.
That's a wide receiver.
Myers.
The question was, it's not just running backs; it was players that are changing.
Yeah.
Teams.
All right, Tyler.
You like Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
You like Jacoby Myers. There you go.
Like last year, it obviously didn't work out, but I was like acquiring some cheap A-Rob just to have and hopefully flip. A-Rob was one. Sutton, I was trying to pick up for the QB hope. Those didn't pan out, but I'm just trying to think who other types.
But here's the thing, Clay. Acquiring A-Rob was the right move.
Yeah.
The part you whiffed on was you didn't flip.
I wasn't able to flip him.
So the process was right. If you could have got A-Rob and got him at his Bears price, but then you held because you were convinced he was going to smash because now he's on the Rams, that was the fault. The process was correct. So think about that. That's another thing is if you hit on these guys, because we're going to see a lot of movement next year. If you hit on these guys, consider the sell versus, oh, wow, they landed in a great spot. I now can't sell unless you're going to give me 30% more than what they were worth 6 months ago. And then you end up getting stuck with all the A-Rob shares like me. I think I have like 10 A-Robs, and it's now like, please, can I maybe rescue a second,
Yeah. So you would trade him for any second, any 24 second?
Is there a market anything other than that? There might be a market now because actually he might do okay without Cooper Kupp until he goes out and doesn't do okay without Cooper Kupp. What is it now?
Ben Skoranek out targeted him last week, and I know that was in game, but that worries me. Like if Allen Robinson had anything left, I feel like they would have been like, all right, now it's the Allen Robinson show.
Isn't that the theory to sell him now before he plays a game and you realize he's still not good no matter who's not there?
Any second. I was looking at trades this week, and then a couple times I looked at Allen Robinson on another person's roster, and I was like, well, he might have, and then I was like, what the hell am I thinking about? No, trade him.
Yeah, he hasn't been inspiring. Firefox, thank you very much for the super chat. Is JT with the 106 and Treylon Burks Superflex 12 team half PPR start 9? Is JT worth? Okay,
I'm guessing.
Let me start this over. Is JT worth the 106 and Treylon Burks in a 12 team Superflex half PPR start 9?
Half PPR, I'd be okay saying no to this deal. But the half PPR, I think, changes it a little bit.
So you would take JT? Is what you're saying? Yeah,
if it was a 103. Maybe I'd be a little more prone to do it, but I think the half PPR and the 106, not that the 106 can't be a running back, but is the 106 going to give me the same flexibility to maybe get another running back? Like if I could I turn the 106 into, I don't know, one of the running backs that's a little bit older, but still could smash for 2 years? Joe Mixon? That'd be probably the bottom end. But if I could do a deal like that, if I had a deal like that lined up where I just acquired, Derrick Henry or something like that, I probably wouldn't want Henry and Burks in the same trade, but you get the point. Like if I could flip that 106 and guarantee myself short-term running back production, then okay. But in this one, I might just go with JT.
it has optical tracking. I don't know what that means, but it's selling me. Yeah, I'm not going to trade JT for this. If that was, I'll tell you what, that if this is the 104, yeah, he's probably gone. 105, he's likely gone. More I'm thinking about this, I might actually take the 106 in Burks. I hate running backs with so much of myself that I'm thinking, as I say this out loud, I think I could take the 106 and Treylon Burks. Feels like I'm selling low for JT, but I mean, we saw what happened to his value after 2 bad games and an injury. Like he fell to like the running back 6 in Dynasty. What happens if he has another 4 bad games? He's going to be in Najee Harris territory.
Yeah, Shane literally went like full circle in like 20 seconds.
Yes, he did. And he was going the wrong way on the picks. He was like 104, man, I would 105, 106. Yeah, I think I would do the
Look, sometimes you just got to talk it through. And I told this to someone that was in my DMs the other day. It's like sometimes you just have to say a trade out loud and go, just to be like, wait, I don't think I like that or I do like that. Hey, there's free Vert girls chat. I don't know what a Vert girl.
Oh, nice. We must be getting some likes. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind down. If you wouldn't mind looking down, we got 231 eyeballs in here. So Shane's math would tell you we have roughly 316 people. If you would look down, make sure you hit that little like if you're enjoying this. We appreciate you joining us tonight on a Saturday night. Guys, Christian Watson or Jameson Williams?
Jameson.
Yeah, that feels like it's the right answer. I do think I would still go Jameson because think about just their tracks of where their value has been. Jameson Williams feels like he can do nothing this year and he'll still hold a certain level of value from where it was before. Christian Watson, if let's say he gets hurt or ends the season badly, you're going to be back to where you were 4 months ago or 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Either one, but really you know how much volatility he's going to have compared to Jameson Williams. So I'd still go JMO, but much closer.
Would you rather have Christian Watson or Kadarius Toney and a 23 third?
Oh, I'd take Toney, and I'd probably take Toney over Watson simply for the potential values. If Toney, let's put it this way, if Toney does half of what Watson has done the last 2 games, he'll be worth way more than Christian Watson. Fair or not, he just will. If he goes and does what Watson did the other night on Sunday, it's over. So I'd rather just have that in my, asset chest.
Yeah, I'll take Toney because we were already talking about. I forget what the trade earlier today was. Earlier in the show, someone was talking about Toney and it was worth more than Watson. And if he goes out there and smashes tomorrow, I'm getting a first from somebody for Toney. It's going to happen. People were in love with that dude after his 1 game last year, that 12 for 184 or whatever it is he did. Mm-hmm. If he has 2 good games, oh my goodness.
He runs more side to side and backwards than he does forward, it seems like, but it looks cool.
Yeah, he's a legitimate gadget player. Like he's not going to be running like, the deep 9s, but not often at least.
Oh, this was the super chat from the previous one. Okay, let's go to Reese here. He's got a super chat for us. Thank you very much, Reese. 12 team Superflex, tight end premium, half PPR, start 10. Just traded Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, a mid to late 23 first, a mid to late 24 first for Deshaun Watson. Rebuilding and have Fields and still have 323 firsts and 323 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's similar to it's less than what the earlier Watson deal was. And I would still consider this. It's about 3 firsts, I would say, for Watson, maybe a little bit more, but.
Yeah, Russell Wilson has fallen into that, like, he doesn't move the needle. Like, he counts as a quarterback because that is his position, but he doesn't count as one that I worry about losing off my roster. Giving up a couple mid-late firsts for Deshaun Watson and Jerry Jeudy, Russ Wilson, slam dunk all day.
Yeah, I like this trade. Getting Russell Wilson off your team. Now, start 10, Jeudy, hopefully he'll be something one day. I like Jerry Jeudy, but in the start 10, it's a long way away from him being a slam dunk starter in your lineup. Okay, yeah, great trade. Get you some Deshaun there. Let me unstar this and move it. And thank you for that super chat. Let's go to ACs here. It's a 12 team, 1 QB, 1.1 PPR, a 0.25 point per carry. So a big point per carry there. Start 7 and 7 IDP, Shane's favorite format. Gave Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, and a 23 fourth received CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, even
the
in
point per carry,
even in a quarter point per carry, I'm fine with this because Dalvin Cook is, well, he's an old injury-prone running back, and I hate running backs. So if I can get out on him for, I don't know, what's CeeDee Lamb, the wide receiver 4 Dynasty, maybe? Wide receiver 3? Did he actually earn the 3 now? Yeah, I'll do this. And hey, you get a 1.1 PPR. That extra 0.1 helps. It really does.
I mean, that is like an extra 10 points,
Yeah.
for if you had 100 catches, that's an extra 10 points. So you take that. I mean, it's not as much as the point per carry, but I do think this is enough of you're not leaning into the format, but you're insulating yourself a lot easier with the asset. So good deal. Good deal, AC.
Yep. Okay, this current comment here. This is from Fizzle Dallas. Thank you very much for the super chat. Sending some coffee fund money. Appreciate the content, fellas. Grinding. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and if you have a question that we didn't start, just throw it back in there, and we'll go for it. Amanda's got a trade deadline here, December 2nd. First place, no 23 first. Traded in JJ deal. Okay, no trade 23 first because it was traded to get JJ. It's a good problem. 1 QB PPR start 8. QB is Kyler. Running backs are CMC, Barkley, Kamara. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Deontay, Mike Evans. Tight end Goddard, Foster Moreau. Solid bench, Eli Mitchell. Any moves? Okay, trade deadline December 2nd. 1 QB. We don't know how many teams. Start 8.
I mean, just
get rid of one of those running backs.
Well, I mean,
sure.
And you want to upgrade one of Deontay and Evans. If you can, you combine them and turn them into something better. Is basically where I'm looking. I don't know if you have any capital to upgrade at tight end. You're going to probably have to just ride Foster Moreau out for the next few weeks, but Darren Waller's on the IR, so hopefully he'll be able to contribute until Goddard gets back in 4 weeks.
Would you?
I'd actually try to. I know Shane's always wanting to upgrade on those receivers, but I'm actually fine as Deontay Johnson or Mike Evans as my last starter. And what's going to move the needle in a start 8 is either a better quarterback or a better tight end. I don't trust Kyler. Kyler's good, but he's not a difference maker necessarily. It looks like this is single QB, so it's 1 QB. Yep. So he's not a difference maker the rest of the season. He's maybe going to be out this week. He's on a bye in week 13. So there's you can upgrade there. You can upgrade at tight end too. Like starting Kyler and Foster Moreau is what could crush this team, even though your skill players at receiver and running back could smash. So I'd actually do that. I'm fine starting like Deontay Johnson the rest of the year if I'm upgrading to Josh Allen.
So we're trading Mike Evans and Kyler we're sending that for Josh.
I mean, ideally you send the players you don't want for one piece of an upgrade at quarterback or tight end. Like if you can send Dallas Goddard and something for a better tight end, sure. If you can send Kyler and something for a better quarterback, sure. But what if someone comes to you and says, Shane, I want Christian McCaffrey. I will give you Josh Allen. You probably could get a little bit of a plus, but the idea is you're swapping positional upgrades, but you do have Kamara that can slide into that spot. You just now have to gamble on him maybe a little bit more than your other piece. So it's looking for the positional upgrades, wherever that is. But I just don't trust Kyler and Dallas Goddard the rest of the way. That's what would derail the team, I think.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the question. Let's move over to Jeremy here. Thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 9. Justin Fields, Travis Etienne, Ken Walker, AJB, Deontay, Freiermuth, Judy, Burks Hall, lists off a couple more. 5-5 contender ? Trade Adams this year, capitalize on his value. Okay, so that's his team. He's asking if he's a contender. He's 5-5.
I mean,
I don't think so. Too many question marks if that's his best starting lineup right there. I mean, Judy injured, Brees Hall obviously not there. You're starting Zach Wilson every week. Justin Fields hasn't had his bye. You're 5-5, and the reason I bring up the bye is he's 5-5. So you take Fields off of this team for a week, that's probably a loss. So I would move Adams. I would try to move Adams in a 2-for-1 and see if you could get back a receiver that gives you the ability to still try to contend this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you get a Deontay Johnson and swap a first and a second for Adams? You just plug Deontay in there, you know. I'm guessing is Tay, probably he means already has Deontay Johnson, so someone else. But the point is, can you downgrade at receiver, pick up maybe a first and a second swap, but still give yourself basically the same shot because you're picking up a same spot starter in that spot. So
I like that. That's kind of hedging a little bit. If you aren't a true contender, at least you're picking up another asset, right?
I mean, he's 5-5. He wants to hedge. You don't want to just say I'm selling everything and going to go 5-9 and miss the playoffs, but you don't want to get to 7-7, miss the playoffs, and you go, damn it, I wish I would have traded Devontae Adams. You know, when you could have made a pivot, picked up a little value, and still given yourself. This team has maybe a 5% chance of winning the championship. If you move out Adams for a lesser receiver and you pick up a pickup grade, it has a 4% chance of winning the championship. Like, it's not that big of a difference, and it's already slim. So that's how I would play it.
Yeah, the bigger issue is the quarterback, and unless you're making a move there and putting your chips in this year, you're probably not going to win.
Sounds so sad, Shane.
Well, I'm sad when people can't win. 5-5 is like I'm right on the cusp.
Right,
I can do some stuff.
Right there. Ty has got an inbox trade. Let's help him out here. 12 team Superflex, start 9 PPR. Give Justin Fields, Gabe Davis, Austin Eckler, Dubs, and a 24 second and third for Burrow, T. Higgins, Josh Jacobs. Thoughts?
So much going on here.
I would take the Burrow Higgins stack and just gamble that Jacobs can be somewhat productive. Or if you wanted to move Jacobs for another lateral running back, you could. Like, could you trade Jacobs in a second for Ramondre Stevenson or something like that? I'd be okay doing a move like that. But I think I would lean the Burrow Higgins stack here. But I can see where the other side's going. Hey, I'm taking Fields. He can score a lot of points. I'm getting Eckler. He's going to score a lot of points. I'm just going to start Gabe Davis and pray for 25, and I might get 5. But you know what it is. So I can see both sides.
I think I'm going to hold on to the Fields side. Fields is nudging ahead of Burrow. Like if it was a horse race, he's like a snout ahead or a nose, whatever they have. I don't know what horses have. And just like Scott said, Gabe Davis is going to be my, you know what, maybe he wins me this week or maybe he doesn't do anything. And Eckler's definitely going to score points for you. He's definitely going to probably outscore Higgins the rest of the year. We'll see how I feel about it next year when, I'm trying to trade Eckler and no one wants him again. But I think we're going to go with the Field side.
Yeah, it's a good trade. It's a good trade. I would have to look at the rest of my team, but I could see both sides for sure. Okay, hide the current comments here. We got a nice super chat here from Bradley, stealing Casey's amount 2023. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Inbox trade, 12 team Superflex, start 10 PPR. Half point tight end premium, 0.5 point per carry. It's a huge point per carry. 6 point passing touchdown. Give Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, get Deshaun Watson, Christian Kirk, Brandon Cooks, Cole Kmet, and Dulcich. Thinking about asking for Christian Watson instead of Cooks. Love the show. Thank you, man. First off, that last part, I would rather have Christian Watson instead of Cooks. You too, right, guys? I mean, it's just a live asset. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Watson goes out there and scores 2 more touchdowns this week. What happens if Brandon Cooks goes out there and scores 2 touchdowns? Absolutely no one cares.
It's still not worth a second.
I'm not moving off of Chase
I'm not
Barrow.
doing this.
I'm good.
This is the format you want Burrow to. He's the QB4 in this format.
6
point passing touchdown. He's going to smash. So I'm not moving the stack.
Look, and I honestly, I think Watson's significantly better than Barrow, like 3 to 4 points a game. But Chase is also significantly better than Kirk and the rest of the refuse that you're throwing in there.
And if you're making
It is interesting in his career. Watson's never scored as many points in a season in that format that Burrow is this year.
Well, Burrow's playing in a looser generation. Watson hasn't gotten to play in this new NFL where there's no such thing as offensive pass interference.
I stand corrected. His rookie year, which he had the 7 games, his rookie year he did it. So I would look at the quarterbacks as a wash. Put it that way. I think it's a wash. So would you want to trade? Would you want to trade Chase for 5 pieces? No, I think that's the difference. If you could get, I think Shane and I would even be with Shane. If you could get 2 strong pieces for Chase, I'm fine doing the swap. But I'm guessing the other team that's trying to buy the Chase Burrow stack is trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink to get the 2 and give up. I don't care if they give up 8 pieces.
Right. Thank you for that super chat, Bradley. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to let's try to find another one here, a non super chat, and I'm gonna go sort through the YouTube community post to see if there's a question there. Let's throw this one up. Superflex 14 team start 10 gave Tony Pollard, got Deontay Johnson and Zamir White.
Love it.
Excellent deal.
Yeah, because we're taking Deontay over Pollard straight up, right? And then you get a free Zamir White to clog your roster temporarily.
No, listen, that's the key right there. The free Zamir White is the kicker on this type of trade. If you can pull this off 1 for 1, I get it. But getting that second Zamir White piece back, this is exactly why we talk about roster construction. You've now chipped away at getting another running back for the future that could be a 0, but could also be, wow, I can start Zamir White a couple times in his career. I just got a free starts. So great deal.
Exactly. Always ask for them. Keep that running back head count up. All right, we'll hide that current one. Who are the top 5 running backs we are okay trading a late 23 first for? Making the playoff push. Need to upgrade from Tony Pollard.
The ones that I'd be willing to pay a late first for, I don't know if people give me for a late first. I know Derrick Henry, probably people give him up for a late first. I'll do Derrick Henry. You don't think someone will give him up for a late 23 first?
What I've found is that the guys that are on the holy shit, they're smashing level, people aren't trading those guys for late first. You can try, certainly send the offer, but you're definitely not getting like McCaffrey or Barkley for a late first. But even if you start to lean into the fact that you're talking about 27, 28-year-old guys, nobody's trading you Eckler for a late first. Nobody's trading you Derrick Henry for a late first. Nobody's trading you Nick Chubb for a late first. When you start getting down into the Dalvin, Mixon, Aaron Jones range, I think there would be somebody that would be willing to do it if they're on a non-middle of the pack, non-contending team maybe. But my experience is because I've tried to go and play I've stashed all these firsts. Let me go throw the 111, 112 or my 9-1 teams first for a running back. And it's almost like, A, I'm trying to buy from another contender. So of course it's a no. B, even if it's a 5-5 or 6-4 team, they look at that and say, I'm not getting paid off enough to do exactly what Shane said. What did you say about 30 minutes ago, Shane? Derrick Henry's going to get a ton of touches next year as long as he survives. Why would I have a team that's good enough to make a run next year, and my team's probably already set up to have a guy like Derrick Henry. So I'm going to wait, take the risk, push it into next year. May not work out for you, but my experience is nobody is selling these 19, 20, 21 point per game running backs for one single first. It's just not happening.
Unless it's a bottom of the barrel team, huh? And
but the gap in running backs this year, go try to find a team that has Austin Eckler and is in 10th place.
And isn't a contender. Yeah.
Exactly. So the gaps have been so drastic at the high end skill players this year, and everybody else's. Like most of the time when I go look and see what teams these guys are on, you might find the Mixon or the Aaron Jones or the Dalvin Cook on an average team, but the Stephon Diggs, Tyreek, those guys are all on the teams that are smashing. So it's really hard to find the fair price because you're having to pay the extra tax to get them off another contender's team. So
in David's case, then, if he's trying to buy a running back with a late 23 first, because he needs to upgrade from Tony Pollard, would you be looking at his wide receiver room, see if he has one of those wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s to tack on to a late 23 first to try to get one of those running backs?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to decimate my roster to get a
talking about a
winner.
replaceable
Well,
type.
who?
Well, let's throw a late 23 first on top of Jamison Williams, and we're gonna get Derrick Henry.
Jameson's perfect one because I can just tell myself, well, this dude's never played in the
Not
NFL.
even
I don't know if
playing
he's
yet.
ever actually going to play either because he's been injured and they keep pushing it back. So I could see doing that, but that's like Scott said. If it's already a contending team, then they probably won't want that either. I think you might just have to pivot down and go, all right, well, how can I get Aaron
Instead,
Jones?
let me
How
get
can I
Devin
get David
Singletary.
Montgomery? Yeah, how can I get Devin Singletary? Someone like that, yeah.
Do you give a late first for the Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs types? Just real quick, do you give a first for any of those guys, Shane? If you think you're a running back away, you're sitting on a top 2 team, do you pay a first for one of those guys if they're available?
Yeah.
That's the first question. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the same time, can you buy Dameon Pierce for that same first? Can you buy Ramondre Stevenson for that same first? There's a decent chance those guys outproduce the ones we're talking about and hold a little more value going into the offseason.
Yeah.
So as soon as I say, well, I could get Ramondre Stevenson for that same first, then you sit there and go, man, why am I buying Aaron Jones? You know what I mean? It works both ways. So you're getting to that price inflection point where I think your options are more vast, but it's really, what do you want to guarantee yourself? Because there is no guarantee that Aaron Jones outperforms, Ramondre Stevenson the rest of the year. And I'd much rather have one over the other when we flip to February.
Problem is if I have Ramondre Stevenson on my team and I am in that position where I think I can compete next year, well, then you're not getting him from me for a first. And I will come back to you like, well, no, take my old people. This is who you're getting. You're not getting I'll give you Dameon Pierce, but only because we've talked about this ad nauseum, so I don't want to get into it. But yeah, no, I get your point. It's a tough spot to be in, man.
It is. Let's go to Lou here. Thank you very much for the super chat, Lou. 10 teams, start 9, 2 QB, not Superflex, rebuilding, contract salary league. There we go. We got there. Shopping Hurts, trying to move Hurts in a 23 second for Lawrence, an early 23 first, and Jamison Williams. Thoughts? Thanks, Scott, for all the help.
Yeah, I mean, I was in on the 101 if this is the 101 and Lawrence for Jalen Hurts, and then getting JMO thrown in. And I assume the contract part will also benefit him by getting the picks and the guys that are on earlier contracts too. Like Lawrence should be ahead of Hurts by a year, and obviously JMO still on a rookie deal. So I assume that factors into it a little bit. We don't know that, but I'm okay with it. It's 2 QB too. So that does change the value of the Hurts a little bit, but I think I'd still do it because, again, in a 2 QB, the early first, even if it ends up being the 102, the quarterback has a little more value there. So I think he postured to me, though, that it's guaranteed 101. If that's the case, I'm taking that.
And I guess so. What, Hurts is coming up on his rookie contract is coming up?
We don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it might be where, we don't know. We can't even speculate. Contract salary leagues are weird. So I just assume that he's getting guys that are a little more valuable because they're younger, but maybe we could be wrong on that.
Yeah. 101.
Struggling with this one, huh, Shane?
No, it's just, really, I need more context. Like, because if Hurts, do I still have Hurts on a second round rookie contract, an elite franchise quarterback at that price, as opposed to Trevor Lawrence? I don't know how the contracts are structured. A lot of contract leagues are based off of, not a lot, but like RSO, it's based off their real, their real salary. In that case, I'm like, well, I don't want to pay more for Trevor Lawrence when Hurts is an infinitely better quarterback. But if it's the 101, well, yeah. So I need the contract stuff. If Lou cares about what I think, he could DM me. Let me know the contract stuff. Because those are just much more intricate leagues. Like, there's much more that goes into it that you can't. Like on a straight up, you know what I mean? Not contract league. I want the Hurts side, but.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going here, guys. Thank you very much, Lou. Appreciate that. We're gonna hit a non-super chat, and then we got a bunch of super chats to run through. And we are an hour and 5 minutes in, almost 250 folks in here still. Thank you very much for joining. If you could just confirm that you hit the like on the YouTube because the YouTube algorithm will appreciate that, and we do. Fly Meat Wad has one here. 12-team, start 9, half PPR, Superflex. Give Justin Fields, Christian Kirk, Rashad White, Jalen Warren, an early 23 second. Get Trey Lance, Jamar Chase, and a late 23 first. Also have Watson and Lamar at QB, not contending.
Yeah, man, this is the same scenario we talked about earlier. It's your QB3, you're downgrading, you're still getting Trey Lance, you're still getting a late first, and you're getting Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you're grabbing the wide receiver 2 in Dynasty or wide receiver 1, depending on go do this, bro.
This feels like the guy trading away Lance Chase in the first is like, I have no time for anything that's not happening this week or next week.
Yes.
And
I mean, he could be a guy that just, or gal that really liked Fields, right? Was really mad they didn't get Fields, and now they're really mad at themselves for not buying low when they had the opportunity. And they're like, all right, I'm just going to throw everything against the wall, and I'm going to get Fields on my roster.
It's a lot. It feels like they're chasing Rashad White, they're chasing Justin Fields, and they're paying like the max price for both of them.
And start 9. Look, yes, both these guys will start for you at some point or another. It's just that's not what I'd want every week. If Christian Kirk and Rashad White are my starters every week, I'm probably a little less happy than I would be if they weren't.
Okay, so we got Coach Ali here. Traded Pittman for Cup. 12-team, start 10. I witnessed this one. What do you think about that one, guys?
Yeah, I like this, especially if you think you have a team. Well, specifically if you think you have a team that can compete next year. I tried to do something like this to Scott earlier, but I couldn't. I pulled it back. I was going to give him Terry McLaurin for Cooper Kupp in a second, and then I was like, "There's no way Scott's going to take this."
Yeah, he's giving me McLaurin because that's the prize, but I got to give him the second with Kupp.
I'm just going to say Terry McLaurin has put up wide receiver 1 numbers over the last 4 weeks. If you read my fantasy data article, you would know that. Thank you. He's putting up wide receiver 1 numbers with who's that guy's name? Tyler, whatever. No, it's not Cooper Kupp 22 points a game. It's closer to 15 points a game, but still, I like this. I like this deal a lot because Kupp is a wide receiver 1, right? I mean, he comes back. He's going to be a wide receiver 1.
I think this is also the line of if you wanted to get out of Kupp, like I traded Kupp for Deontay Johnson. If you wanted to get out of Kupp, okay, Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, that's fine. I could see both sides of this trade. I could see the person going, I don't really like Pittman. I'm taking Kupp next year. Or I want out of Kupp and I want a wide receiver 2. Give me Michael Pittman. So there you go.
Yeah, and if everybody wants to explain to Scott that I offered him a great deal, just explain that to him.
What can we get for RBs that are great for contenders, but not good for rebuilders? For example, David Montgomery, D'Onta Foreman, etc. So, guys, if you got a 23 second and a 24 second for David Montgomery, would you be pleased?
Yes. Shane wouldn't, because that's like literally one of his kids.
I love David Montgomery. He's going to smash the end of this year, by the way. But no, I would take that for him. And D'Onta Foreman, if I can get a second for him, he's gone. I'll add a third to it. If I can't, if it's anything lower than that, I'm going to just put him in my pocket and then use him as a starter next year when whoever's in front of him gets traded or injured, because he's basically he's got voodoo powers now and just takes out the starter in front of him.
So David Montgomery, let's say you couldn't get a first for him, and for whatever reason couldn't get 2 seconds. What's a wide receiver pivot who you'd be trying to shoot him for? Like maybe Hollywood Brown. See if you can get Hollywood for Montgomery.
That's aiming high, man. Unless people are really low on Marquise Brown and they've been listening to me talk about his feet being made of peanut brittle. I don't know that anyone's going to do that, but it's worth a shot. Definitely worth a shot.
I mean, we've talked about it. Can you get Kadarius Toney for David Montgomery? Can you get Christian Watson for David Montgomery? I think with Montgomery and with D'Onta Foreman, a lot of the other running backs we've talked about, Devin Singletary, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, all of these guys, Damian Harris, they're all valuable. I actually want all of them going into next year. I don't care if they're hitting free agency because there's not enough good running backs to go around. We know these guys that have been good in the past are going to They're going to land somewhere, and they're going to be, hey, maybe I can start him this week. Maybe they're in a committee, but I mean, most of them are already in that right now. So I want these guys next year, but at the same time, we also know what's going to happen to the value of a guy like D'Onta Foreman as soon as the season ends. Oh man, he's probably just going to be back on the street. David Montgomery's hitting free agency. He'll never get the volume he got again with the Bears until he does, because he's good. So I think you want to get these guys gone now, but you probably want to start buying them back as we get closer to the off season when nobody's going to value them. So as a non-contender, just get rid of them. Take what you can.
Well, here's the thing, though. So if I think I can contend next year, right? I'm already starting to look towards next year. If I can't get the value that I think I want for these players, or that I know that I want for these players, I'm just going to hold. Like 1 second for David Montgomery, I'm like, no. You want to give me 2 seconds? You want to give me Christian Kirk? Maybe I can get Christian Kirk from you. Then I'll think about it. But I think
the 2 seconds is a little greedy, right? I think there's not a lot of teams that are going to send 2 seconds for David Montgomery, because why couldn't they just get D'Onta Foreman for 1 second, or Jamal Williams for 1 second?
Maybe the D'Onta Foreman, Jamal Williams owners, that's me and you, and we're at the top of the charts because we built our team correctly, and we're not trading those guys.
But there's a lot of options you could pay a second for, right? I think the idea is, if you can't sell David Montgomery for 2 seconds, can you sell him for a second and insert another running back? Damian Harris. Can you get Damian Harris in a second for David Montgomery? I would still do that because it achieves what Shane's talking about. He thinks David Montgomery can help his team next year because he's close to contending. You added another running back that's kind of in that range. So target that. I think asking for the 2 seconds, you're going to get shut down on most deals trying to ask for 2 seconds.
Brandon, thank you for the super chat, man. 10-team, full PPR, 2 QB, full rebuild. Have Deshaun Watson, George Pickens, Treylon Burks, Elijah Moore, Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, Pacheco. 8 firsts, 5 are top 5, and first 4 second-round picks. How many picks should I take? So how many picks should he make? He's got 8 firsts, 5 in the top 5, and he's got a bunch of early seconds too.
How many does he start? We don't have to start. I don't want to make 8 picks. I mean, that would be fun. It would be fun just to sit there and make them all and make everyone wait. Like I'd use up all the clock on every one of those picks too, so that the rookie draft takes 3 weeks. Is there any way I can get out of Elijah Moore and Ayuk and add a first to them and go get me a real legitimate wide receiver, high end 2, maybe wide receiver 1? I'm throwing in the towel obviously on start 10. I'm obviously throwing in the towel Elijah Moore. Full rebuild. Where's his other quarterback? Oh, yeah. I'm drafting. I'm at least going to draft one of the 2 quarterbacks, right?
Probably both, right? In a 2 QB league, if you only have Deshaun Watson, let's say you don't acquire a quarterback before.
I'm not going to spend 2 quarterbacks out on rookie quarterbacks. Not high picks. I'll spend it on 1, not 2. And then I might just slam everyone's face with 4 straight running backs. Yeah, and just everyone will cry because it's a deep, good running back class, better than wide receiver next year. I'd probably end up taking. Yeah, I'd probably make all 8 of these picks. You know what? I don't care because Elijah Moore, Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell are all replaceable, and the fact that you're mentioning them as part of your rebuild portfolio lets me know that this team is the technical term is ass. I'll make all 8 of the picks. I don't care. I'm making all 8. We're going for it. All 8, and we're going to make the playoffs with 4 rookie running backs next year. Sorry.
Shane has so much less restraint than me because he's sitting here going man, I just want to beat everybody's face with every running back in next year's class. Just RB, 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 RB. Shane, your roster construction's terrible. You have no wide receivers. In June of next year, Brandon asked for a roster review, and Shane goes, "Man, you got way too many running backs. You gotta get up with those guys." No, I think, he's got 8 picks, right? So, my advice would be, I want to get to a certain roster construction, and really, it's what else can I do with the picks? I wouldn't be opposed to trading the 101 if you could get an elite quarterback, right? It's a 2 QB league, but maybe you can't, so that's off the table. So I think you just have to kind of play each pick for what you can get for it as long as you're getting towards roster construction. I wouldn't play it like Shane where I go, yeah, I'm just hitting running back, running back, running back, running back, running back, running back.
There's 1,000% chance that I get on the board, and that's not what would happen. Like
Of
I'd get pragmatic and be like, all right, I probably should have like one wide receiver that I can start, since right now I'm betting on Pickens and Burks, who, look, they flashed, but Burks still has less than 300 receiving yards in his rookie season. So at some point, I'd probably go, I might want to get a wide receiver from someone else that I know has actually been able to produce in this NFL league and score some fantasy points, but I'd still make like 3 running back picks.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you for that super chat. We'll move on to a non-super chat here, and if we could keep an eye on the time here and maybe cut off the super chats, we'd appreciate it. There's probably some way that I can do it in the YouTube machine, but or you could just listen to our request. There was one here. Joseph G has got a deadline tomorrow. Summer, bro. 8 and 2. 223 first. I have Javonte, Brees, Goddard, and Khalil on my IR. My QB room is Mac and T-Law. RBs are Mostert, Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, Darrell Henderson. Wide receivers Pittman, Debo, Olave. Sell or buy?
I mean, it depends on what I can sell. Can I sell Javonte and Brees for young wide receivers that are going to help me now, but also continue to help me next year, the year after that, whether it's, on my roster or me trading them? Your quarterback
this team can't win.
Sucks. It's
right
8-2 at some point. Look, but I wouldn't try to trade the picks, but I'd be okay trading Javonte and Brees. But it's, like I said, it's got to be for wide receivers that are going to help me in the future. Like, can
8-2.
Who?
No, I'm just looking 8-2.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, is how is it?
How is this 8-2?
Because maybe he's just had really good luck. Maybe he's Joe's every week. He's playing like the bottom, like scoring team, and everyone's yelling, like pissed off. And he's probably getting a lot of these, like, oh, I can't believe he won again. I outscored him by 50 points, and I lost this week. Or someone's pointing out that they're 300 points more than him scored this year, and they're 5 games under 500. Crybabies. If I can sell Javonte and Brees specifically for, can I trade Brees for T. Higgins? Can I trade Javonte for, I don't know, someone below that range, but slightly below it, just below it? Can I trade Javonte for George Pickens? Can I trade Brees for T. Higgins? I do that because then again, even if it doesn't help me this year, if it ends up not working, I still have them on my roster next year. They're young wide receivers that are ascending.
I like it.
He's got the first too, so I'm actually okay going into next year with a running back room that doesn't have Brees Hall and Javonte Williams. So I kind of agree with Shane. Can he essentially get 3 bailout trades? Javonte, Brees, maybe Goddard, and try to contend with that. I'd be okay doing that. I'm not moving the picks. I agree. I totally agree with everything Shane said. Yeah,
definitely. And there could be a market to be able to get rid of Javonte and Brees. Okay, well, hey, good luck, man. Good luck. Nicely done being 8-2 with that squad. Doing something right. Okay. Well,
paying off the refs.
Yeah. There's maybe some malfeasance going on. Did I just pull a Shane and jack up a word?
No, okay. That's a real word. That's and the correct usage. And I'm the one telling you it, so it's 100% correct.
Jack, thank you for the super chat. Here's the question. Need to work on the avatar though. Just a black circle there. It's little morbid, but let's see what his question is here. 12 team, start 8, PPR, 1 QB, trade deadline this week. Have CD Lamb, Amon-Ra, Brees, Burrow, Burks, London, 423 first. 2 of them are early and 2 are late. Tanking to compete next year. Amon-Ra for Pitts? ?
12 teammates, 1 quarterback. Oh yeah. Yes. Now, do it. Scott's all practical.
No, I mean, it is interesting because this is another one of those teams. It seems like is a theme. I think 3 of our roster reviews we did yesterday had Pitts and London on the same roster. So for some reason, they find themselves on a lot of rosters where they're not contending, but they look really good for dynasty value. It's like, man, I'm building around London and Pitts, and they're on the same team. And I think a lot of times our advice is, can you maybe can you hedge off of that if you get the appropriate value? So here you're saying hedge into it. and run with
Only
these
like I
guys.
like Amon-Ra. I wonder, could you trade London for Pitts straight up? Like I would do that.
I think it's the same type of offer as a Monroe.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I would do that and then hold on to Amon-Ra and then not put all my money into Arthur Smith is going to learn how to coach an offense basket.
Where does Burks fit in compared to London these days? I mean, he put up over 100 the other night. Would you take Burks in a mid 23 second over Drake London right now?
No.
Not there yet.
I think both of their situations are similar in terms of like pass rate and what's going to need to change for them to be better than they've been is the same. And Burks still doesn't have, and maybe by the end of the year or tune will change a little bit. Burks doesn't have the splits that London does, so I'm still willing to pay the second if I can move off Burks for London. But it could get, I mean, certainly it could get closer with what Burks did the other night. He basically did what London's been doing all year, but never with the volume that the Titans passed with the other night. So I mean, it could get much closer.
I mean, that's what Burks' first game over 20% target share. Not that his target share has been putrid by any means, but Drake London's has still been elite.
Good. Yeah.
So we need, like, Burks needs to do that for at least like half of the rest of the games and put up another 300 to 400 receiving yards before I feel safe saying that he's going to be someone that can be useful going forward.
Well, here's one real quick. Drake London or a late 23 first right now? Given a late 23 first for Drake London?
Yeah, I'll give it late first.
Yeah, for sure. We're not in re-roll territory for Drake London, no.
Nope. Okay. Hunter Blaze, thank you for the super chat. If you had to pick between the two, who do you prefer, Olave or Wilson?
Man. Okay, just gun to my head. First thing that popped in my head is Olave. He's just been more consistently consistent, regardless of who the quarterback is. Right?
Consistent.
I mean, he's just literally, there hasn't been a game where you're like, oh, okay, he hasn't been a major focal point of the offense. And Garrett, that's not to say Garrett Wilson's been bad by any stretch. I like them both, and Garrett Wilson I liked significantly more than Olave before the season. Olave looks like a top 5 dynasty wide receiver to me. So I'm gonna go with Olave, but it's not like I said, it's not a slight on Wilson at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with Olave's rookie year. You know, he's at 26% market share. It's still remaining pretty high. We know his air yard share is really high. It's tough for me because Wilson's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's dealt with multiple quarterback situations already, and arguably he's had slightly better competition maybe thus far this year than Olave has, and he's still at over 23%. So the cop-out answer is literally
whatever side has the plus.
Well, not even that. If it was me and I'm doing 5 startups, I'll take 2 of each.
That's a portfolio.
Or I'll prioritize the stack. And I mean, I guess a tiebreaker could be you have a better shot of stacking with Zach Wilson in terms of what you would want probably in a new build than you would a Saints quarterback. But Jameis is under contract next year. There's a chance they just go back to Jameis and you're like, man, that Jameis Olave stack in 2023 is productive, you know? So
yeah.
I mean, there's a chance they go back to Jameis in the next week or two.
That's what I mean. It's a cop-out answer to say I would split my shares, but I think that's how close they are, you know?
Yeah, but that's sometimes, and you know, some people ask us, well, oh, why don't you just buy 100% on one player? Well, because there's things like this that happen where you're like, you ask me today, I'm like Chris Olave. Ask me after tomorrow's games when Garrett Wilson goes out and drops 150. You know what I mean? And then I might be like, oh yeah, no, it's Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to a super chat here, and thank you for that one. Hunter, I believe was the name. Lindsay, thank you. 10-team Superflex, half PPR, start 11, no tight end premium. The guy said that premium. It's like I had like a
premium
little minor slurry moment there. QBs are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. RBs are Saquon, Mixon, Swift, Elliott. Wide receivers are JJ, Lamb, Diggs, DK, D'Onta, Terry, DJ, and JMO. Tight end is Andrews. Continues on to here. In second place, first is in its 4. Okay. Not sure. Give Allen and Diggs, get Fields, ETN, Ayuk, and a mid to late 23 first. Is it worth it to beef up RB? You don't want to give away that stack, right?
Yeah, in a 10 team, it's not super shallow, but it's also not like 15 starters or something like that. So yeah, I'm not doing a 4-for-1, and I'm not giving up the best stack in the league. Can't do it.
That's what
she has plenty
11,
of
right. Yeah, it's start 11. So just even if it was a tiebreaker in my mind, is Ayuk starting over any of these guys?
No, she has plenty of depth, and it's a 10-team start 11 is still not equivalent to any more than a 12-team start 9.
10.
So you're not. Yeah, it's 9. You're not giving up the Allen Diggs stack. Now, the only way I would consider something like this if I'm also stacking another quarterback with their top weapon, but she already has Andrews and Lamar. So it's like you can't really go anywhere other than adding another high-level stack. If you had, Dak Prescott and you didn't have Lamb, you'd prioritize making the move there. But no, I'm not giving up the Allen Diggs stack. It's the highest WARP player stack in the league. I'm not trading it.
Yeah. So here's where I'm starting to feel like, you know what? This Fields with a first, feels like a little bit of a wild card, right? Like Fields could be Josh Allen, and obviously not as a thrower. Well, maybe it could be. I don't know. ETN could be. It's not a stack, but ETN can put up as much as Diggs can, and then you get a first. I don't care about Ayuk. Look,
this is one of those moves where I would like immediately throw up if I.
Nah,
this gave away Allen and Diggs. I think.
All right, so this is coming from a place I play in a lot of leagues, right? So some of my leagues, I just go, you know what? This is crazy enough to work. I think I'm going Fields in the pick, and ETN. I am.
No,
I don't care.
It's like I don't care.
I'll
do what I want.
Fields is good as Allen this year. Allen looks like shit the last few weeks. He's been captain turnover. He's regressed, whereas Fields is actually progressing as a player, except for not being able to throw for more than 200 yards. Yep. And then I got a first in there too. I don't know, man. Yep. I'll take Ayuk in that first and go get a real wide receiver. Matter of fact, I'll trade it back to dude or gal and be like, give me Stephon Diggs back.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for that super chat, Lindsay. Appreciate it. Okay. Moving on, gentlemen. And what's the time? We're an hour and 27 minutes in. This one flew. This one seemed to flow big.
Roll them. We got a lot of questions. Let's get through all the ones we have in here. We have 29 questions in the queue. Let's rapid fire.
Yeah, and this is it, right? No more super chats, please. We appreciate all the generosity. Rapid fire. Here we go. Jason, I saw this and I was like, is Jason locking 4 on our live stream right now? 12 team, 1 QB, start 12. Gave ETN plus a mid second. Receive a 23 first, early to mid, and a mid to late 23 first. The second I gave up is from the same team as one of the first, so it will move me up the full 12 picks. Okay.
It doesn't feel like you're cashing out high on ETN. It feels like you're just re-rolling for what you hope would be a running back similar to him. I get he's upgrading the second to the first. It is a start 12, so if you catch the tiers in the right place, you might end up with getting 80% of ETN plus another starter for just one ETN, because I'm guessing the second is going to be a late second, and it's probably not a starter in this format, even though it's a start 12. So that's the only logic behind it. But I'm looking at their early to mid first for ETN straight up in a 1 QB. I think I'd be fine holding that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting 2 firsts for a running back, and I'm clearly not competing. I'm taking those picks. I can do a lot more with those picks. They don't have names to attach to them yet. I can turn those 2 picks into like 4 firsts if I.
And they can't get hurt, so you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'll take the picks, and I love ETN, but I'll take the picks.
Yep. Okay. Let's go to Mike Toolkit here. Someone offered me Thielen a 23 second and a 23 third and a 25 second for Jamar Chase.
No.
Don't need any advice. Just figured y'all would like a good laugh. Yes, That's ridiculous.
Dude, just and don't be a dick about it, but just respond back. Because if it's MFL, you can respond back. If it's sleeper, obviously you can't. Well, you can just send them a DM, which is even more forward. Just call them up and be like, "Hey, did you forget or her up? Did you forget to add something to this?" Like, don't ask it like sarcastically, like me. Just be like, "Hey, I'm curious. I saw your offer. Just feels a little light. Did you forget to add something?" Just to see.
What you do is you counter with nothing for Thielen, and you just put in the comments, "This is what I'd pay for Thielen."
Oh,
yeah.
Don't burn bridges. You want to be a nice person.
No, the bridge was burned with this offer.
I think Clay's more with
out.
me, right? You send me
Oh,
this,
yeah.
and you're just wasting you've wasted 15 seconds of me clicking decline.
Well, look,
Yeah.
guys, when you get to be my age, you get old and wise, and you learn to let things, let water just run off your back.
No, you can just send a link, one of those let me Google it for you. And you create the link and it's like Dynasty trade calculator or something like that. Take them to the Dynasty 101 trade calculator, the free one. That's always fun to do. Okay, Mike Toolkit. Yes, thank you for the laugh. That is trash. But it looks like he has something more serious. I'm in a league where the QB gets 0.5 points for each completion. Commissioner changed it to the benefit of himself after I won the championship 2 years in a row. I need to trade Lamar.
I'm just going to say this, Mike. You need to leave the league.
Leave the league.
That the commish changing it because you have Lamar, and that's obviously not a favorable setting for Lamar because he doesn't complete nearly as many passes as a lot of the other upper tier quarterbacks. Listen, bro, we'll get you in a league.
Yeah.
A commissioner literally changing something. Maybe it really wasn't to
themselves.
benefit himself, but literally changing something without like voting or anything, regardless of why he did it. I'm not down with that, so I'm out.
Yeah, that dude sucks, or gal.
We're not even going to talk trading Lamar because it's not worth your time. Get out.
No,
Yeah.
You know what? You go, well, I'm leaving this league and I'm leaving it in good shape because I'm leaving it behind with a top 5 dynasty quarterback. Good luck to you all on your future endeavors.
Gav Curtis, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. 10 team, 2 flex PPR, my 23 first. Okay, I'm going to restart here. 10 team, 2 flex PPR, my 23 first, a late 23 first, DJ Moore, Treylon Burks for Olave and David Montgomery would make me a contender.
That's a lot of firsts for Olave. And David Montgomery.
So if he's a contender, he's saying it's essentially 2 late 23 first, DJ Moore and Treylon Burks for Olave and Montgomery.
And if it's only 2 flex and I'm guessing this is a really shallow league, like a start 8, start 9. So I can see where he's literally just looking at the pieces he can put in his lineup and he's giving 4 pieces for 2. So that's in our standard format that we always talk, I'd much rather have the 2 firsts and Treylon and DJ Moore, but in his circumstance, he's probably looking at like this might be the one team in the league that's willing to help him upgrade his lineup, and that's it. So I can see it.
Yeah, I could see it.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I probably would take Olave. Though.
Shane, those are your kids that need rescued. Okay.
Yeah, your children. It's just a couple picks. Yeah,
I do get out of DJ Moore, which feels good. Let's go get Olave and DJ and go David Montgomery and go win us some games this year. Yeah,
I could see it in that format too. I would do my diligence though. Yeah, like Scott said, maybe this is the only league mate that's willing to help you out, and that's what this trade is. But okay. Hide the current comments. Thank you very much for the super chat. We've got another one from did we already? Yes, I will unstar that one. Let's go to Zeus. Thank you for this one. Appreciate it. It's an inbox trade. 12 team Superflex, 0.75 PPR, start 11. Get T-Law and a 23 projected 102, 104, 105. Give Burrow, Chubb, Debo. Fail contender, have my mid 23 first. Rest of the team is old and or injured. Thanks. Love the show. Appreciate it.
He's getting all 3 of these first, is the way I read this.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's getting T-Law, the projected 102, 104, and 105. And he's giving Burrow, Chubb, and Debo.
Yeah, sold American dollars or Canadian dollars or wherever the hell you're from. Yeah, I do this.
Yeah, I think this feels like one of those where, especially since he's not contending, take the flexibility. You could always go back and buy some players that you like better than what you're getting later on. So yeah, I'm good with this deal.
And this is one of those
Because we'll
rare.
never get that value for Debo and Chubb again, right?
No, this is one of those rare deals where we're like, it's okay to throw in a bunch of your trade assets into one deal because you're getting paid back like fairly.
Well, and the theory behind it is I would never send all of these in one deal. I would never send Lawrence and these 3 picks in one deal because I don't want to just bet that I can pick the right 3 players between Burrow, Chubb, and Debo Samuel to smash. I would much rather go, how can I send one of these to get me some points, but then also hedge my bets and go, can I buy cheaper points than giving up all those picks in Lawrence?
Yeah, well, good for him.
If this deal goes south, man, that team that gave up all the picks in Lawrence could have literally gone from, the penthouse to the outhouse, like overnight. So yeah, great deal. The more that I look at it, good job.
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Zeus. Appreciate it. It's funny. I remember the last live stream where I was like, thanks for the super chat, Daddy. There were some hilarious comments where before pointing to that spot. Thanks, Daddy. Okay, moving on here. Trip Crown.
Yes, goodbye. That's called rapid fire.
There we go.
Done.
Brian Robinson are at 24 first.
24 first.
Bye. Okay, yeah. How about you drive, Scott?
Well, I just saw that when I go, we can answer that one in 5 seconds. So that one's gone. All right. We had another one in here. We did have another super chat. I'm going to throw that one up here real quick. Cameron
Spaceman. Okay, I'll go back to reading here. Watson, Jefferson, Chase, Waddle, Pitts, J-Mo, Tony, Ridley, Mechie. When do I have worthless players? Where do I have worthless players? Start 8, 12 team, just trade them. Have 101. So Mechie isn't going to do anything in the start 8. Tony, Ridley.
I mean, I think all of his players he has, even if they're not going to fit in a start 8, they have a level of value, like name value. So I'm actually okay with the players he has. Where I would say you have worthless players is if you're sitting on, like the productive, like wide receiver 3 types or the running back 2 types is where you're going like, okay, do you really see much value in, a guy like Zeke or Tyler Boyd, someone like that? That's where you really start getting into worthless players in a start 8 because they have no dynasty value. And they're outside of like the startability range. So I think he's in okay shape. He's just going to need to find somebody that goes, oh, let me give you, something better for 2 of Jameson Williams and Calvin Ridley or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think any of these players are worthless. Definitely not.
Right.
Yeah, so there has to be, I guess, a narrative for the players. If you're like, yeah, I don't think they're going to be starting in a start 8, but there has to be, a narrative to where they could be a very live asset if something were to happen. Like we said with Kadarius Toney, if he has a big old game, like
no, if he turns into KJ Osborne, okay, it's time to move on. If John Mechie turns into Chris Moore, yeah, it's their 3rd year in the league. 4th year in the league. They've never been anything other than a wide receiver 50. Forget about it.
Clay makes a really good point. That is very, very commonly something we say on our roster reviews is when we're looking at start 9s, but it's 30-man rosters. You have a lot of dead weight. And I see a lot of people on their benches are just carrying absolute zeros, worthless players. Really, you should focus kind of the back end of your rosters there on who cares if the player ever gets into your lineup. It should more be, can I tell myself a story where X happens that this player is actually worth some sort of flexibility that I can get from another team? So yeah, I may never see my wide receiver 10 get into my lineup, but my wide receiver 10 might go up to a wide receiver 7 and someone might go, dude, I'll give you a second. Okay. That exactly how you play the bottom end of your bench. So Clay makes a great point. Follow that.
Follow me.
Seriously, you make some points and you smash sometimes. We need to hear more Clay.
There's a reason you're on this show, all right? There's a reason me and Scott recruited you for the show.
Yeah, we had this great idea and we were like, we need somebody to actually like
we need some person to sit in the middle
reel
of
us in. Talk. Otherwise it's just Just a bunch of blathering all day, all night.
It'd be 15-minute Scott tangents, 10-minute Shane rants. It'd just be awful.
We're a good team. Okay, let's go to Trip Crown here. Also traded. Okay, so let's start with this one. Also a bad feeling about this trade, but I don't know. 12-team Superflex, start 10, half PPR, got Drake London and a mid-23 first, gave Jacobs and Diggs.
I don't feel bad about this. I like this.
If you're not a contender, you like this, right?
I like Drake.
He feels bad because he gave up what he thinks he didn't get enough back, right, for these guys.
Right. Yeah. But in most leagues, at least most leagues I'm in, I might, I can't speak for your leagues, but Steph Diggs is about the price for Drake London. Like if you were going to make it, and they get a 23 first for Josh Jacobs, I think is very good because everyone hates Josh Jacobs. And he hasn't actually produced in a couple weeks, so he's not even at his apex. So I think he did quite well in this deal.
Yeah, definitely. And look at this next one. Whether or not he did amazing in that one. Also traded Ramondre Stevenson and Foreman for a 23 first and a 24 first.
Yeah, it's that additional first, man, because I could see trading Ramondre for a first.
Yeah.
But the fact that you add Foreman to it and dude or girl was like, yeah, sure, I need to give you another first for that. That's excellent work.
And you want to feel better? Add the two deals together and look at what you got on one side versus the other, and just smile. You won. Good job.
Yeah, that's a good net there. Okay, let's move that one here.
All right, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Hurricane Lane. Get Justin Herbert and Amari Cooper. Give an early 23 first, mid 23 first, Stafford and Brandon Cooks.
Yes.
Done. Great job.
Done. Hilarious avatar with a giant forehead on Peyton Manning there. Okay. Chayton, do I trade DJ Moore right now when people are throwing around picks before the trade deadline, or wait until the offseason when he gets a better situation? What do you think?
What are you getting for DJ Moore?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I just want to get out. I'm tired of hearing about DJ Moore's situation's going to get better. I've been telling myself that same narrative for, I don't know, 15, 16 years now. It feels like if someone's giving you a first for DJ Moore, just get it. Just get it and go.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move that comment there. All right. We got Jacob has a Superflex start 10 retooling due to a lost year with Watson. 1.5 PPR for wide receivers, a 0.25 point per carry. Gave Garrett and Zach Wilson, got the 103, 104, and Thornton.
I'm okay with it because it's point per carry. That's where I'm okay with it. You might look and go, man, Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson. I would take Garrett Wilson over one of those picks until it's point per carry. I'm okay with it in point per carry.
Yeah.
So I'm probably drafting.
Plus, he has the crying Kamara avatar, so I like that.
Yeah, I hate giving up Garrett Wilson, but this is a good way to re-roll on Zach Wilson at a pretty good.
And if his point per carry for the quarterbacks, I think that also increases their value a little bit too. So I like having that 103 and 104. So good deal.
Yeah. Let me pull these up here. I was just looking through the YouTube community posts, see if any were really time sensitive. We'll rapid fire these two. Rebuilding and holding someone's late first, likely top two. So, 10, 11, 12. Hold until the draft or spam for a 23 second and a 24 first. The deadline's this week.
Send that now. Yeah, send that now.
Spam those.
Yeah, spam those now. Try to move back. Okay, we will move that one. Here's another one. Inbox at the deadline. 12-team Superflex PPR start 11. Give Rashad White, get Cortland Sutton, and a 24 second. I'm rebuilding from the bottom of my league. Is this good process or is Sutton too old?
No, this is a good process. Sutton's not especially old, and you basically got a free Sutton because Rashad White was a second round pick anyway. You get to re-roll on a player next year, and then you get Sutton. And people like Sutton for some reason that I can't discern. And he has value, and you could flip him if you wanted to.
And it's a start 11, so anytime you can get 2 for 1, and I like the deal. Good job.
Good job. Let's go. This one here, 10-team Superflex. Would you trade 223 firsts for Burrow? Yes. My QB room is Mahomes, T-Law, Mills. Have 3 firsts this year. If I make this trade and then trade for an RB, I'm a strong contender. Well, yeah, that's a cheap way to get Burrow. So you've got some more stuff to see if that person has a running back that you can buy as well in a separate trade. Lock that one down first.
Can you trade Davis Mills for a dozen eggs that can maybe give you 1 meal?
Yes, just get Davis Mills. You're in a Superflex, bro. Trade him too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go to Timos. Thank you very much for the super chat here. 10-team half PPR Superflex non-tight end premium start 9. Give Freiermuth, George Pickens, get Marquise Brown and a 24 first. I have good depth at wide receiver, so Brown would go to the flex. Tight ends are Pitts, Freiermuth, and Likely. I'm a contender. Is tight end depth important?
No, and yes, I would do this trade. You're getting the 2 best assets in the deal, probably. Maybe you could say Pickens over Brown slightly, but yeah, I'm doing it.
Even if you think Pickens is slightly over Brown, the 24 first is significantly over Pat Freiermuth.
Right.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk.
And it's half PPR, 10-team, tight end depth doesn't matter.
Team, non-tight end premium.
Yep, fine with the Pitts likely tight end room.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the for that super chat, man. Hopefully we helped you out there. Okay, let's unstar that. Moving on to ties. 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Gave Pickens and Dillon for Drake London. Thoughts?
I don't care about AJ Dillon in a start 9. You selling high on Pickens and buying low on Drake. I like it.
Yep, good deal.
Good deal. Okay, let's move that one here. Recovering Ridley Truther. Yo, guys, what are you doing with Watson if you're a contender? Buying, selling, holding?
Buying as much as I can and contending with Watson because he's coming back in 2 weeks. So
if I'm already contending, I'm going to assume one of my quarterback positions went well that I didn't expect to, because a lot of my Watson teams were built with this year's a wash because I don't have Watson. But let's say that's the case, then I wouldn't mind trading Watson to one of those bottom dwellers and taking their best player, their best asset or 2. But in general, yeah, I've been buying Watson for a year now. I haven't actually done so in the last month or so because I didn't need to. I got him everywhere. Suckers.
Gideon, thank you for the super chat. If the 23 and 24 class combined, how would you rank them? Is it Bijan or MHJ first? Then where is Caleb? Compared to Stroud. Yeah, Caleb compared to Stroud and Bryce.
Caleb's over Stroud and Bryce. No? Yeah, he is.
Remember when Spencer Rattler was over everybody in the 2021
Caleb
class?
Smashed last year and he's smashing this year still.
All I'm saying is I've changed my tune on this. If you're in Devy leagues, I trade all of these guys because I play in 50 Dynasty leagues. I'm trading every Devy player that's more than a year out, unless it's extreme circumstances, especially if they're getting to the value of like Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb Williams. Like you can legit get like T. Higgins for Marvin Harrison Jr. And we're to that point where it's like, I know I'm going to be able to get shares of him when he comes into the NFL. So if I can take advantage of mitigating all of the risk when they're 2 years out, I'm okay doing that. So it's a tough question to answer in one answer, though, because I think
that's what they paid us for. So I'm going Caleb over the Stroud and Bryce easily, and I'll still take Bijan.
There you go.
Bijan.
First of all, cooler name. Secondly, scarcer position. Scarcity at the position, but MJH does look like an absolute monster. He looks like a legit killer, like his father. Let's
go to this one. This was his box.
Scott got that joke.
Team. Yeah, I tried to move it on. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, start 10. Give T. Higgins and a late 23 first. Get Michael Pittman and 224 firsts. This is an interesting one.
Half PPR, I'm good with it. Especially since it's a late 23, you're getting 2 supposedly random 24s. I'm okay with it.
I mean, I guess at some point I just want to hold on to players, and this be one of those deals where I'm like, no, I'm just holding on to Higgins in my 23 first because 23 comes before 24, and I got a better chance using that to help me win next year. I know it's probably bad process. In fact, I know it is. I felt a ting in my spine when I said it, but I don't care.
That might be your age.
Well,
That
that
might be
too.
your age.
Yeah, I'm taking Higgins. I'm taking Higgins in the first. Okay.
Y'all liked my trades finally. The Pittman Cup trade.
Well, look, when you make a good trade, we're going to like it. We don't have a choice.
I'll have to look back in the sleeper comments to see if there was any banter about that trade. And Coach Ali there. Coach Ali sends me some winners, I'll tell you what. Okay, let's move on to another one in the chat here. Aloha, fellas. Appreciate what you're doing. Dynasty Trades HQ / Dynasty and Chill #1. Oh, he's in that league with us. Gotcha. Aloha, man. This is Husker. Yeah. He's a patron too, obviously.
Awesome, dude.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah, we gotta hide that one again. And we got there we go. Garrett, thank you for the super chat, sir. 32 team, 16 by 16, half PPR, 1 QB. Trade Goddard and a 24 first for Mark Andrews. I get Goddard back for the playoffs. Top team has minors in the mirror. Is looking in the mirror. Worth it?
That's a tough one because he does say a 24 lottery first. If it was later,
yeah,
I don't care because it's a 16 team, 1 QB. So you're kind of just gambling that if it's outside, the top 6 or so, then the difference of those picks falls off pretty significantly. I'll defer to Shane. I think the risk is that you think you get Dallas Goedert back for the playoffs. I don't think there's a guarantee. That's the only thing is if you get to week 15 and you go, oh shit, he's not playing, then what? It's too late. Yeah, you might have thrown your championship out the window. You had a chance to get Mark Andrews. You didn't take it. Now you're wishing you could, and it's too late. You're gonna wish you gave up that 24 first because, like Shane said, it's 2 years out. So yeah. You decide. What would you do, Shane? Goddard's situation.
I'd hold Andrews here. Like Andrews, we saw, and obviously it was in the beginning of the season, not so much in the latter half, which would mean the later part. He could put up crooked numbers, right? Like he was challenging Travis Kelce for tight end one, like ridiculous numbers. I like Goddard. That's not really who he is. He's more of I can get you 15 points and I can get you 20 points. And it's generally going to be a little bit lower than that, whereas Andrews can actually put up those week winning weeks. So I'm going to hold on to Andrews here, but it's not by a lot. I'll say that.
I think he's getting Andrews.
Yeah.
The way I read it.
Oh, well then, yeah. Well,
he's trading Goddard and in the lottery first.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and he's assuming he's getting Goddard back. And my assumption was it's not guaranteed you're going to get Goddard back.
Yeah. Okay. I got to find a way to freaking move that one here. Okay. Here's another one that I had. Let's try to. What is the rough value of a currently projected top 3 pick in 23 in terms of rebuilding if you have a trade deadline and multiple early first? The next part of it was, would you recommend trying to trade now and maximize the value of one that might not end up even being a top 5 pick at the end of the season, for example?
So here's what I would say. Do you need quarterbacks? I think that's the one thing that we chase, especially when we're doing the roster reviews. If we have these teams that have 5 23 firsts or something like that, but they don't have a tight end and they don't have quarterbacks, that's when I'm willing to explore deals where I can maybe trade those picks early. And I'm willing to lean into the fact that the league might think it's top 4. Maybe it ends up being the 106, right? I can maybe get a little better value on it now. I'm much more slim on the skill players I would trade those picks for. Because I look at a 103 and it's like, that's going to be any skill player I want. So why am I going to go and trade it for somebody else's skill player that they're probably going to still be overvaluing because it's still point scoring season? Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, okay, if I can trade the 103, I'll trade it for AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, someone like that. But you're not getting that deal done because the team that has those guys is probably wanting them for their points and they see the dynasty value in them. So why would they take a pick for him? So that's where I think we struggle. Unless you can go buy like the home run tight end or an elite quarterback, I'd almost rather just hold the picks unless it's just a really sweetheart deal.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going here. Wow, we're almost 2 hours in here, huh? Have you noticed I didn't mention my wife one time tonight? She's out of town, so that's why I'm
that's why you're still alive, right?
Just kicking it up here in the office.
I just assumed the divorce proceedings had commenced, but
this is very quick. She got me out of here pretty quickly. 12-team PPR Superflex. How can we move off of Adams this offseason?
This offseason?
Move off of him now if possible.
Yeah, easily. You sell low. That's basically
sell low.
I mean, there's going to be.
He's right. You're going to sell to it. He's going to reach the point in the offseason where you're going to have that real internal talk with yourself of, is he worth more to me than what I can actually get in my league? Because you don't think you can get a lot now. You don't think you can get a lot for Cooper Kupp now that he's injured? Wait till next offseason with Adams, because he's going to be a year and a half past where Kupp is. And the Raiders could also be a complete mess, is the other thing. I'm not sure he's even set up to be the, oh my gosh, he's going to smash in 2023 either.
Right. Yeah, basically that's it. You got to sell low. No matter if it's a 24 first, can you get a 24 first? No. 25 first next summer? Okay.
Gator J just made a trade today. Sent T. Higgins and Christian Watson for Jacoby Myers, a 23 first, which is the 101 to 103, and a 24 second. What are your thoughts? 10-team rebuild.
I love that. Tapping my left side right there. Give me that Jacoby Myers.
All about some Jacoby Myers.
And honestly, if he can if it has a chance to be the 101, I mean, 101 alone for Christian Watson and T. Higgins is probably a smash. And then you're getting Jacoby Myers and the 24 second thrown in. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
He took a gamble, but even if it's the 102, you're not going to hate this.
Yeah, make sure you're checking out Gator J on Wednesday nights on Fantasy Intervention with me, Shane.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but just because he's a co-host of mine, I'm going to say I like this trade. No, I like this trade. I'm assuming it's Superflex, right? 101, 103. You're getting one of the top two quarterbacks right there if you want to, or you can use it as trade bait. So
if that's Shane's team, he is squinting at that pick going, that's going to be the 103. Let me get that T. Higgins.
Okay, and we just got another super chat come in from Eli. I guess he heard me say that my wife was out of town, but no more super chats, please. We got to get out of here at some point. Let me just look at the monitor. Yep, kids are still down. Good to go. Okay, let's go to Pele. Either way, thank you for the super chat. Sorry for jacking up your name. 12-team half PPR Superflex start 10 full rebuild sitting with the 101 and 104. QBs are Herbert, Deshaun, and Fields. Lovely. Worried about losing the 101. Shop Fields for under his value, or just keep all three QBs going into 2023. Love the show. Thank you.
I'm going to lose points somewhere else. I got to be able to lose some points somewhere else than Justin Fields. I can't imagine. I don't want to just sell him low.
Yeah, can you go to the team that has the other pick that's threatening your 101 and down tier one of these quarterbacks? Like, can you down tier Fields, like down one tier and swap picks? You know, can you move that 104 to the 102? I mean, I see why he's worried, but he's almost, it feels like he's trying to thread like the perfect needle here. And it's like, dude, you have Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, and Justin Herbert, and you have two top 4 picks. So even if you don't get the 101, you should have the ammo to be able to move to the 101 if you want to. So this isn't where I'm with Shane. This isn't where I'm trying to get rid of assets. Go elsewhere.
Yeah, go elsewhere indeed. That's a beautiful QB room. Don't want to break it up just for that. Thank you very much for that super chat. Let's move on to Kevin. You got another one.
Oh, Kevin.
Kevin.
It reminds me of Home Alone. That's coming on soon. Home Alone season.
No more super chats. Thank you very much, but we have to stop it at some point. Okay, Amanda, took your advice Send an offer to James Conner, D-Hop owner. My Kyler, my second, and Ingram. I'm first in points and best record. He's second in points, but he's worried about Connor. He asked for a home run.
An hour.
An hour to consider.
Yeah. I'll say this, Amanda, the fact that he's asking for an hour to consider means that he wants to do it. So you can make this happen if you truly want to. Don't overpay to make it happen, but just a little sweetener. Like, all right, well, here's a third, here's a fourth, here's a third, fourth, and a fifth. Fifth is all yours. You can make it happen.
I like the 5th round of 23.
Big. It's great. Not as much as the 5th round of 2025, but yeah.
Give it 25 fifth. Okay. Eli, thank you for the super chat. 10 team, start 9, half PPR. Give Connor and Sutton. Get a mid 23 first and Cole Kmet. I'm rebuilding.
Done.
See
I don't even care about Cole Kmet. Give me the mid first. Yep. Good job.
Yeah, and then trade Cole Kmet for something because somebody's going to want him for some reason or another. Oh, he scored a touchdown last week when no one was covering him. It was amazing.
Yeah, the box score hunters. Thank you for that super chat. Mark, 12 team, 1 QB, 10 starters. I'm competing. Get Kenneth Walker. Give a late 23 first, a late 23 second, and a 24 first. Too much to give up?
1 QB? No, it's probably what it takes to buy Ken Walker in a 1 QB.
Yeah, I don't care about the second. I mean, it's a lot. I don't want to pay for a running back, but if I'm going to pay for a running back, it's probably a running back that I'd be willing to pay for.
There you
go. I don't really think he means it about super chats, guys. Well, you think I'm like bullshitting, saying no more.
Keep going.
No.
I think this might be our longest show ever, 2 hours.
Yeah, I think
there.
It is, yeah. and I do mean it, guys.
If it's not at this point, I think we just got to keep going.
Yeah, someone did say earlier do a trade deadline special for 24 hours, and we had some people in the comments say we don't believe in trade deadlines, so we would never signify our 24 hours trade deadlines. But this is what it would feel like if we went for 24 hours. We're 1/12 of the way in.
It's not bad, actually.
Yeah, like Ruben said, it's only 7:35. There's another super chat.
Just we're getting disrespectful is what we're getting.
No, what's actually happening is we're recording this, and this is the way that Clay can solicit. This is the training video on how to solicit super chats. You just sit there with a crying face, going, "Please don't."
Oh no more, no.
No, thank you. Okay, John, 14 team, Superflex, tight end premium, PPR, start 10. Send Brian Robinson, CEH, Pacheco, a mid 23 second for Damian Pierce.
Yes.
Yeah, you're sending a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and look, I don't believe in Damian Pierce beyond this season, but I truly don't care about Brian Robinson, CEH, and Pacheco beyond I don't care about them all right now.
There's a comment behind this super chat. Last one. I have 30 minutes to complete. Okay, let's help him out here. Thank you for the super chat. 12 team Superflex, start 10 PPR rebuild. So looking to compete maybe in 24. A 23 mid to late first, a 24 first, 24 second. James Robinson for Fields. The league's not budging on QBs. Have Tua. Wide receivers and tight ends are good. No running backs. And he's got the 102, 103, and the 112. Okay, so rebuild, are you giving away a mid to late 23 first, a 24 first, 24 second, and J. Rob for Justin Fields?
Yes.
Yep, I'm good with that.
What's our motto? It's okay to overpay for a quarterback in a super flex league, right? And James Robinson in a second, I don't know that those constitute an overpay. 24 first is so far away that even if you get this wrong and Fields turns into a tomato can, you can get that pick back.
Yeah, and I mean, if he has yet another good game, he's going to be 3+ 4 first to get him.
Yeah, that would have been a great spot to have an editor. We just throw in a tomato can.
Oh, don't worry. Liam will be getting it.
That is going to be a reel.
It's going to be a reel. Yeah, that'll be a reel. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, This one is hilarious. Don't tell me what to do. $2 from Mark. That's hilarious. Thank you, sir. Don't tell me what to do, bitch.
All right, here. I got one more trade.
I'm a grown ass man.
Did we get all? Oh, we didn't get all the super chats, did we? Oh, yes, we did.
Nope. We got one more.
No, we did this one.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Kevin, thank you very much. Oh, okay. He's got a message too. 12-team tight end premium start 10 rebuild. Give T-Law and Chuba Hubbard. Get Zach Wilson, a mid 24 first and a mid 24 second. I have 423 first.
Get mid.
He's hedging against T-Law here, picking up the extra first. What do you think, Shane?
Nah, I'll hold T-Law. I'll hold T-Law here.
I'd
rather add a first to T-Law and see if I can get into a better area at QB than tearing down into the Zach Wilson realm of mystery.
And I think having the 423 first makes that more viable than if you had no assets at all.
Right.
We might be saying, okay, it makes sense to get out of the one asset you can split versus, sounds like he's probably in a position he can maybe make one of those big moves. So that's how I would go. Agree.
And it's funny. He said, some people like myself are just tuning in. Sorry. No problem, Kevin.
Yeah, Clay's making him feel bad. Kevin, do not feel bad. You can super chat away.
He doesn't. No, don't. We must stop at some point here. No, thank you. Thank everybody for joining us here. Mike suggests that we just get divorces and run 24/7 streams. Sounds brutal. I mean, hey, whatever, but might make a bunch of coffee money.
Single life isn't that bad. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't eat particularly well, and I mean, my apartment's probably not very nice looking or smell nice, but there's definite perks.
There's definite perks. Yeah, and happy belated birthday to you, sir. You don't look a day over 50, man.
Yeah.
And Trenton says the algorithm likes long streams. Yes. All right, that is all we have in the comments there. Hey, good times, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining. We went 2 hours and 6 minutes today, and we still have 240 people in here. So if you could make a quick check that you hit that thumbs up, we'd appreciate it. But good luck to everybody tomorrow, right? Got some old games.
And apparently a lot of trade deadlines coming up. So
a lot of trade deadlines.
Sorry.
Yep.
Go
ahead.
I'll just say this. If you are in a league and your trade deadline is already happening, do what you can to push it back. This is too early. If you've learned anything from this year, things change so fast. There's no predicting what's going to look like 4 weeks from now, and you're still not to the fantasy playoffs. So at least push it out to like week 14. Week 13, but week 11 is way too slim. No, I couldn't do that.
Especially, and this is most trade deadlines are based off a 16-week season anyway, right? Like without the additional game. So even if you get them to push it back one game and then, slowly start pushing it back until it's completely abolished and there's no trade deadlines because trade deadlines are stupid, but that's a whole other show.
Yeah, there's probably a ton of shows that you could look at, the trade deadline shows where everybody's talking about it. Everybody has their own thoughts. No, but thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. We will see you on Tuesday, assuming we're all around. Tuesday show is always a good one, too.
Yep.
See ya. Thanks for joining.
Be chill, y'all.
Good luck.
Bye.